Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and I have a project to share with you today. We are in the middle of our Middle Ages unit and we are going to be making crowns inspired by the craft book called Days of Knights and Damsels by Lori Carlson. So we're going to change this up a little bit and we are going to dip into our Waldorf handwork supplies. I have some merino wool top and we're going to be using that to do some wet felted balls as decorations for our crowns. Now this is going to be a really lengthy process, and if you would like to omit this, you certainly can by getting some pre-felted wool balls, or you can get some pom-poms for much cheaper. All right, so I'm going to show you the whole process here, which is quite lengthy, and it was a little bit hard for my children to do this from start to finish, and so for my 8-year-old especially, I would get the wet felted ball started and make sure that it was kind of all in a ball before I handed it over to her, and then she could continue the process. So I've got that pink bowl with some really hot water, that blue bowl with cold water, and I am using some dish soap to start out with in order just to keep it all together. This helps with the wet felting process, and I am just kind of moving it between my hands, and then I am dunking it into the cold water and then moving it in my hands again and putting it into the hot water. And this whole process will help this wool kind of felt together into the shape that you want. Every now and then I add a little bit more soap to it, but you really don't need that much. The whole point is that you're really kind of working it between your hands. You want to make sure that you get it into a nice ball. When my children were doing this, when they weren't too careful and it turned into kind of like an oval or oblong ball, it was harder to reshape it. And so once you get this all wet with your soap, you kind of want to make sure that it's basically in the shape that you want, because it's really hard to change that once it starts to get wet and starts to get shaped. All right, so I've got my 8-year-old there working alongside me, and then my 12-year-old is going to start on his as well. And my daughter tried to work with hers first, and you can see that it kind of all fell apart and it wasn't in one nice ball. But because it got wet, I wasn't able to reshape that at all, and so I'm actually working on one here for her. I'm going to be handing that one off to her so that she can continue with that one, because once it gets wet and misshapen, it's really hard to remedy that problem unless you turn that into a core of a much larger ball. Okay, so it takes a long time, as you can see. You just kind of have to keep working it. I have to say that working with a small ball is harder than making a larger ball. We've done these before for other main lesson blocks and unit studies, and working with a bit more wool allows you to have an easier time shaping it into a ball. So I'm going to help my son get his project started, adding some soap, and just keep dunking it into the hot and cold water and shape it. You got to work it for quite some time. Now this is not just a lengthy process just for the wet felting, but it actually takes a really long time for these wet felted balls to dry completely. Now they're each going to make about 8 to 10 balls, and then we're going to leave them to dry. And you can see that 2 days later they are hard and mostly dry. Now some of them weren't wet felted down completely, so they're nice and tight and hard, and that's okay. I'm just going to let them continue to dry until we're ready to use them. I'm not going to go back and make those any tighter. Now this set over here is my daughter's set, and you can see that she's done a great job, but you can see that this skill set is a little bit different versus my 12-year-old's set, which were a lot tighter and more shaped into a ball. And you can also see that they're all different sizes, even though they tried to make them about the same. Okay, so now we're going to move on to making the crown itself. I'm using some 100% merino wool felt, and I am just measuring out how long I want this crown to be. So I'm actually going to have to stitch it together. And I just did a really simple zigzag crown, and I did it in a way that I would just have to cut the center zigzag and then I could piece them together. So both of my children worked on that, and now we're going to stitch them together, dipping into my embroidery floss supplies for this, and I've got some colors to match. I went ahead and I threaded the needles balls for them. That is one thing that's a little bit too complicated for them to do, a little bit too tedious. But once I got that started, my son was able to sew his crown together, and he did a zigzag in the front. You could do all different kinds of stitches. Now that stitch was a little bit too complicated for my 8-year-old daughter, so I did a loop stitch for her, and once I got it started and taught her, then she could do the rest. And she did it really well, really neat, but some of the stitches were a little bit larger, but it didn't matter because that was going to be on the inside of the crown versus my son's zigzag stitch is going to be on the outside. Now these are the 2 crowns that they made, but later on in this video I'm going to show you 2 crowns that I made for my children and how they look a little different than the ones that they made. So now my daughter is pulling in some wool, merino wool top in order to decorate her crown, and on my son's side he is going to be taking those felted balls and sewing them to the front of his crown. That was a little bit too complicated for my daughter, so instead I gave her the hot glue gun in order for her to glue her little felted balls onto the front of the crown. So again, this is one project with multiple ages, and I'm just modifying how to do it depending on their skill set. Now, once they were done, they weren't quite as pleased as they expected. I think they had a vision in their mind of what it would look like, and when it didn't quite fit their vision, I decided to go ahead and make 2 more crowns for them with actually a pretty simple design, which took a lot less time and turned out pretty good in the end. So I went ahead and I cut a new crown using a larger piece of felt, so I didn't have to stitch them together. I also used that merino wool top, and I just kind of added a little bit to each of those peaks. I also dipped into my beading supplies, and I put little clusters of beads at each of those points. It almost looks like peacock feathers, actually. All right, so I did have to just stitch it together on the back side, and for that I used a really simple running stitch. And so overall this took a lot less time, and I think it turned out just as well in the end. All right, so I just stitched it together, and then my daughter tried it on along with her princess outfit and her cape, and she is all set to go. All right, so since I made one for my daughter, I decided to make one for my son, and I am using the Cordell wool top, I believe it is. It is a little bit coarser, but works just as well. And I made him look kind of like flames coming up from his crown. I'm also dipping into my bead supplies again and some metallic thread, which is a little bit more challenging to work with than other threads. I'm going to put a little bead on top of that flatter bead and use that just to kind of stitch it in place. And I just kind of knotted it in the back, but then I just kept that stitch running around the entire crown rather than knotting it, cutting it, making a new knot, and then stitching it again. So again, this whole process took a lot less time than doing the wet felted balls, and I think that they turned out really beautiful in the end. And my children not only liked them a lot, but were also really touched that I made them for them. And this is something else that you might find to be quite a surprise, is that your children will really love the things that you make for them and do for them and cook for them. So I encourage you to try that out in your homeschool, because look how happy he is when he finally got it. He was just thrilled, and it fits pretty well. So here's a closer look at each one of those crowns that they made, as well as the ones that I made. Okay, so you can check out more pictures on my website at pepperandpine.com. You can also find a blog post that accompanies this video with more information about all the supplies that we used. And if you want to check out some of the other videos in this Middle Ages unit study, you can tap on the screen right now. And don't forget that if you want to see what we're up to on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at pepperandpine.